Hello everyone, I want to tell you a story today, a fable about the scorpion and the frog. The frog was sitting on the riverbank as he does every day, and the scorpion came by. The scorpion asked the frog, "Sir Frog, you can swim across the water and I cannot, but I want to get to the other side. Will you take me?" The frog thought for a moment and said, "No, you're a scorpion. We are enemies and you will sting me." The scorpion said to the frog, "Frog, don't be silly. If I sting you while in the water, I can't swim. That's why I need you in the first place. If I sting you as you swim across the riverbank, I will surely drown and we will both die. Why would I do that?" The frog thought for a moment, considered what the scorpion had said, and reasoned that it made sense. Why would the scorpion kill both of them? And so he said, "All right, scorpion, you can get on my back and I will swim across the river." As they swam across the river, the frog and the scorpion talked about many things, talked about the scorpion's adventures in the forest and the frog's adventures in the river. But about halfway across the riverbank, the frog suddenly felt a sting. He couldn't move his arms. He couldn't move his legs. All of a sudden, he began to sink. He said to the scorpion, "What have you done? You have killed us both. Why would you do this?" The scorpion said to the frog, "It is my nature." So stories often reveal to us truths in a way we wouldn't normally accept them, and this fable in particular I think is very useful in our modern culture. I think there are two great truths in the scorpion and the frog. The first one is that we all have a nature that we can't avoid. We don't like to think of this. We like to think of ourselves as rational beings, rational humans who make decisions, and we are, in many ways. But we like to deny the part of us that isn't rational, the part of us that makes decisions based on instinct and nature. We also don't like to see that in other people. We like to assume that we're in total control and other people are in control, and when two in-control individuals talk to each other, they can just figure things out. But of course, this is not how the world works. We have a nature. Men have a nature. Women have a nature. Human beings have a nature. And when we deny that nature exists, we're in trouble. Now, don't get me wrong. Morality is often denying our nature. This is what many great moral traditions call us to do, to turn our back on selfishness or hatred or fear. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's noble. But when we pretend it doesn't exist, that's when we're in trouble. One thing you'll notice about all the really, truly great moral traditions is they acknowledge the fallenness of man. They acknowledge the flaws of humans. They acknowledge the nature. They know it's there. They know it's true. They don't deny it. They may ask us to go beyond it. They may ask us to try to conquer aspects of it or seek God's help in conquering parts of it. But they always know that it's there and they never deny its existence. When we deny the existence of people's nature, when we deny the fundamental biological truths that define human behavior and society, we often see very dangerous consequences. I think the other great truth contained in this fable is the idea that reason is important, but it can lead us to deceive ourselves. The frog knew right away that the scorpion was his enemy. He knew this on a deep level. He knew this because he knew what a scorpion was and what it does and why he should fear it. And yet, the scorpion was able to appeal to the frog's reason. The scorpion was able to convince the frog that really, the things he knew, they couldn't possibly be true. I mean, the scorpion is a rational actor, the frog is a rational actor. Why can't they just talk these things out? Why can't they just explain the reasoning to each other and overcome these deep-seated natural biases? Why do these ancient truths have to be real? Why do these things that the frog knew innately have to be true? The scorpion was able to present a reasoned argument, and the frog followed it, made sense. And so he believes the scorpion and takes him on a ride. This, of course, ends very poorly for both of them. Again, this is not to decry reason. This is not to say that reason isn't valuable or reason isn't important. Reason brings us amazing advances in things like science. It can make the world a better place in many ways. But reason should always have contact with reality. Ideologies and ideas really only work in the sense that they map onto the reality we experience and serve their practical purposes. It's easy for us to look at, say, communism and think, oh, what a great way for the world to live. How great if we could all live in this particular manner. The problem is, of course, that this doesn't map onto reality, but it doesn't keep people from being enamored by it. It doesn't keep very smart, very intellectually gifted people from convincing themselves that human nature, it can be perfected and it can be altered fundamentally so that the world can be a better place. These people ignore what humans have known for many, many millennia because they think that they've reasoned their way out of it. They're smarter than the tradition. They're smarter than the nature. They can bend it to their will. But of course, we know in the end, humans do have a nature. There is a reality. And no amount of reason or logic will fundamentally shift those things in the long term. We need to build our political structures. We need to build our societies around a true understanding of human nature. If we don't do that, we will always be setting ourselves up for catastrophe.